So this past weekend, Toronto fell to the San Francisco Shock, but I'm telling you, these games were actually so much closer than what the final score says. So today, I thought I'd show you guys how Toronto pulled off this sort of split defense on Hanamura second. Let's go. So this one's going to be pretty short. I'm going to play the original broadcast and then we'll break it down.
Do a bunch of stuff, namely a Gravitic Flux and a Deadeye combo, which could be scary. And we'll see if Nevix might actually just hold up on the Flux, just so we can give Logix sightlines to get easy Deadeye kills. Which means that the Shock are allowed to take this position here on the platform, and they get an amplification matrix. Toronto make themselves real scarce right now, and Logix is working an off angle. He wants the Shock to commit to the point so he can get a flanking Deadeye. Let's see if it works. Rascal throws out the May wall here. Cruise's immortality field is down, and this hasn't gone the way they thought it would at all. Logix still gets two, though. That's the combo with the Gravitic Flux and Nevix. There was enough damage on Architect, so when he hit the ground, he burst open. And Toronto come up with a winning combo just as we drew it up. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. Let's start with Toronto's game plan. They have McCree's Deadeye combo with Sigma's Gravitic Flux coming up. In order to successfully do this, Nevix needs to build up the last 10% of his ult charge, they need to get a good angle, and they need to force out Smurf's Fortify so he gets lifted up, and Violet's Immortality Field to guarantee the highest chance of success for this. So the way Toronto had this set up was to have Agilities, Beast, and Cruise on the May, Orisa, Baptiste to hold up this top left angle here. These three play here so that you have the Immortality Field in case San Francisco rushes them, Orisa is there for spacing, and May is here to wall off any targets that get caught out. But coming out individually to get walled off by a May won't happen to an Overwatch League caliber team like the San Francisco Shock, and they know that. So they attempt to make a play by coming out to this platform, and then try to force out the May wall and make something happen with Violet's Amplification Matrix. KarQ is off solo on his own here at this angle specifically, and it works because A, San Francisco does not have a flanker like Tracer or Sombra to catch him out, and B, he knows San Francisco's double shield comp basically guarantees they will all play together as 6. That means KarQ is safe here to shoot at targets coming up top, to the right, and if they rush to the point, KarQ can use the cover here towards a mega health pack here to the right, and fall back to Nevix and Logix. KarQ can also heal the two to the right who are off angling. Well, like I said, this was a split defense setup to give them the best angle for the Flux Deadeye combo as sort of a cross-firing tactic. Now that I've explained why each player is in these positions, let's play it out, and you can see San Francisco tries to open up with an immediate pull from Smurf on the Orisa into Amp Matrix combo to burst out Beast. Agilities puts up a very smart wall here to protect both Beast and himself. It's 400 damage to break a chunk of the ice wall, and you can see how San Francisco output a massive amount of damage to immediately break that chunk, and that very much could have killed Beast instantaneously. And Agilities hides behind a few more chunks of his wall here as a pseudo shield, which kind of protects him against damage like Choi, who can very easily splash damage around that corner. Beast pops Fortify and slowly gets healed up from Cruise. KarQ is just putting in shots to whittle down the enemy shields and orbing Logix and Nevix from chip damage. Nevix is shielding and farming his Flux and waiting for San Francisco to commit to either the point or to the Beast Agilities Cruise trio up top. Once San Francisco failed to find a pick off their first combo, 5 of them rotate back up the stairs to try to rush down the Toronto trio up there. Time is winding down, so one person has to touch for San Fran, and that job belonged to Choi Hyobin. He drops to touch the point, but you can see how that split defense set up such a strong crossfire here, and he had 3 angles to worry about. KarQ deals just enough damage to force out his kinetic grasp, which allowed Logix to start his Deadeye immediately without the threat of it being eaten by it. Once San Francisco tried to rush the 3 up there, Beast and Agilities tried to stall as long as they could. Cruise throws down his lamp to buy them more time, and he knows they're pretty much cooked up there, so he rotates back down to wait for San Francisco to drop to the point because he knows Choi is dead, so somebody on San Fran has to touch for them. Nevix moves up to farm his last bit of ult charge, lifts them up, and Logix, who already began charging the Deadeye earlier, kills Choi, who was on the point, and Moth. The Flux from Nevix actually stalled them long enough on the high ground that nobody else could touch, and the round ends. The biggest takeaway from this is that setting up off angles and crossfires, especially on defense, is a very powerful tactic if done correctly. The only issue with it is if it's done with improper timing or setup, it's very easy to get caught out, and I'm sure that happens a lot in your game, so people will always default to the group up as 6 guys, stop flanking, stop getting picked off, and yada yada yada. Something like this does require practice, so next time you 6-stack with your friends, think about your combos, think about your composition, and see if you can pull off some cheeky plays like this. And that's it for this week. Be sure to subscribe to the channel up here, and watch the other episodes of the series down here.